All right, 8th graders, let's write down this chart to help us solve indirect proofs. So this is just a procedure that might help you in setting up an indirect proof. Step 1, you could list the possibilities for the conclusion. What that means is taking what you have to conclude and what are the possibilities? Like, could I assume this? Could I assume this? So while your friend may do it one way, you may do it another, and that is completely okay. Next, assume that the negation of the desired conclusion is correct. So whatever you decide you want to prove, negate that, and then assume that as your first part of your proof. And then step 3, you're just going to write a chain of reasons until you reach it as an impossibility. This will be a contradiction of either the given definition or a theorem, definition, or other known fact. I want you to circle this step. You will have a contradiction, but you're either going to contradict given information that's been given to you in the proof or a theorem, definition, or other known fact. For example, you may prove that all 3 angles of a triangle are more than 180. Well, you know by the triangle sum theorem that that will not work. So therefore, it might be a given fact or given information or something that's a theorem, definition, or other known fact. Then step 4, state the remaining possibility as the desired conclusion. So you would say, you would write it out as a sentence as your final statement. And let's do an example of that. So here's an example. Given that angle A is congruent to angle D, and segments AB and DE are congruent, and we know AC and DF, those segments are not congruent, prove that angle B and angle E are not congruent. So in the first thing, step 1, we can either say that angle B is congruent to angle E or angle B is not congruent to angle E. Well, we're going to assume the negation. So those are our possibilities, but we're going to assume the negation. So to set this up, I'm going to put our givens. Step 2, I'm going to assume that angle B is congruent to angle E. And the reason? Negation, or you could say assuming the opposite. And you can put that in here if you wanted to. So if I know that those are congruent, angle B is congruent to angle E, we then can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by ASA, because angle side angle would prove them congruent. Then, step 4, AC is congruent to segment DF, and the reason is CPCTC. However, this is where you'd write a sentence. Your sentence could say, this is impossible, since you've just proven the opposite of given information. So you would say that this is impossible, since segment AC is not congruent to DF. That's in the given. That's impossible. So you would then say, our assumption was false, and angle B is not congruent to angle E, because this is the only other possibility. Or ever, again, you can write this in your own words, but you definitely would have to write in words at the bottom, just a sentence. But contradiction would be an easy way. Right, by contradiction, this is impossible since in our given it says segment AC is congruent to segment DF. Therefore proving angle B is not congruent to angle E. And that's what we would say.